Hey, what's going on, everybody? I know it's been quite a while since we've put out an episode, but guess what? We're back, and I believe this is episode 3. Yeah, I think it's episode 3.
Yes, because zero doesn't count.
You mean 0 doesn't count? Of course it counts. I mean, it doesn't count in the numbers, but it counts overall. I think it was a good episode. Some may
And so
say
far, I think that was our best episode. Our very first one was our best episode because after that we got too preachy.
Well, our goal is honestly to make each and every episode the best episode ever. So this episode is going to be even better than the last episode, and I promise you even better than the first episode, especially because we actually haven't seen each other in a really long time. Andrew, you are back at school now, right?
Yep, I'm at GCU in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's the main reason why we haven't had an episode out in a while because I've had to move in, had a whole 2 weeks of long weekends trying to unpack, driving up here, all that fun stuff.
How far is the drive?
It is supposed to be 6.5 hours. It takes me 7 because I stop in the middle to get gas and eat dinner, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's quite a drive. I never like it. As in case the viewers haven't noticed, I drink a lot of this, and
Yes,
especially
sir.
on those drives.
As do I. What do you got right now? You've got a Bang.
I've got a Bang Star Blast. It tastes like a red Jolly Rancher, not like watermelon or cherry. It's just red, the color red.
It doesn't taste like the Rocket Pops. That's not the taste
I
they went
haven't
with.
had a Rocket Pop since I was 8 years old.
Oh, okay. I was
don't.
gonna say. I thought you were
No,
gonna say
yeah, I
you've
was a
never had
little
one.
kid, and it was the ice cream truck that goes by our house that used to come down the street. Now it stops at the top corner and never comes down because they know there's only like two kids that live on that street.
Yeah, they know that they aren't gonna get any sales or revenue from our cul-de-sac back over where we used to live. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you would have said you've never had one, oh man,
No, yeah,
we're going
I've had
to
one. It's
Vons
just been
and
so long that I don't remember what it tastes like.
yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's a good flavor. I would say that's probably one of my favorite bangs. I'm going with the classic, the best.
There's classic and then there's basic. I don't know how better to describe that because that's the one that Adam got me hooked on when I first started drinking energy drinks, the classic white monster. But Dad actually messed me up. We started getting the green Ultra Paradise, and that one's
Right.
fruitier, and now I like that one better because I've been drinking it so much.
Well, that explains a lot. You're a fruity person, Andrew. But I'm just kidding. These were like sent from God for all of the people who, and we talked about this in the last episode, but for all the people who really enjoyed the monsters but wanted something that was a little bit lighter and not as like in your face energy. And these,
One that didn't taste like gasoline.
one that didn't taste like gasoline. And you know what? I'm okay with being a basic monster. I'm okay with that. So I'm on it. Actually, okay. Honestly, I'm really tired right now, and not in the sense of like I need caffeine, but I'm just like tired, hungry, and thirsty. I've got this monster. I've got Coca-Cola because I know we take an hour long during these episodes. I've got
I just downed
Funyuns because
Diet
I'm.
Mountain Dew
Look at
before
that! Look at that! See.
We're
I'm-
very unconventional. We're messes. We're just
No, I got to tell you this because this is really funny. Okay, so I stopped by the liquor store. I'm actually at a gym right now recording this, and next door there's a liquor store. This is like the healthiest thing I could find. It's got 300 calories, 13 grams of fat, 40 grams of carbohydrates, and 4 grams of protein. And I got a jerky as well, and the jerky basically covered my protein. So this is like the healthiest thing I could find. And this weekend I realized something, and I know we've said it. There's a joke in our household or for all of our family that Adam eats everything. But
we can't have leftovers in our house at all.
no. I eat everything, and it's true. I'm definitely the kind of person that if you sit me down to watch something or play something
We have to
or
hide
talk,
potato chips. We have to hide snack foods.
it's
because
true.
he'll come and wipe out a bag in one night.
It's true, people. the other thing is that if I have any kind of gathering with anyone, mind you, I am fitness minded. I'm health minded. I do try to burn calories throughout the day and be active and all those things, performance wise, everything. But I realized something this weekend. Elijah was off of school for Monday, and so Sunday night we were staying up late, playing some video games, watching some TV. And I realized that I was the one opening the bag of chips. I was the one putting in the popcorn. I was the one making a bowl of cereal. And like we're having a good time and everything, but I was just like continually like getting food throughout this whole time. And I remember what you guys were saying when we had our like guy night and we were hanging out. I just like, it was like I was looking in a mirror and just like, oh, you are the fatty.
See, which is why I can wholeheartedly blame you for my situation. But
even Elisha was like, dude, stop eating. Oh man. Oh gosh. And few people know this about me, but it's true. Like I can just keep eating. And this is why I really enjoy spending long hours out on the trails and long hours in the gym, because it means that I've burned 1,000 or more calories and I can go and eat a whole bag of salsa verde Doritos and I'm good.
That's the only way he can stay away from food, going into the middle of nowhere to run.
Exactly. And by the way, news update: we've got some salsa verde Doritos back on them shelves.
He's very proud of this. He sent me a text the moment he saw them in the store.
The moment it was like I saw them and instantly I pulled out my phone. I had to take a picture. I had to send it to Andrew. I had to send it to my mom. I had to send it to Jaylee. And I sent it to everybody that I know because I was so excited to see them on the shelves. I could finally enjoy some salsa verde Doritos. Ugh, so good. By the way, did you see their new ad that they said that they don't even need to put their logo on the bags anymore because their chips are so iconic? They're just going to start putting out
the
plain
colors,
red and green, or sorry, red and blue bags. And you know what? They're right. We'll buy them because we'll know what they are. They just got to put a red bag and a barcode, and we're good. Forget the nutrition facts. Doesn't matter.
See, the thing that would have messed me up with that though is that I keep getting, like, I can't just grab one of the bags because I confuse the nacho cheese Doritos with the flaming hot nacho cheese Doritos because they're only slightly different shades of red. And anyone who knows me, and Adam knows this too, I cannot handle spicy. I'll eat hot Cheetos, which are like the basic spicy snack food. I love the taste, but they make me sweat.
Andrew, when he was younger, and I think even to this day, when my family and my dad would make enchiladas, he would force my dad to make a tray with no red sauce on it.
No red sauce, no green sauce. It was
red
just
or green, no red or green sauce at all.
See, now I do it because I don't like the taste of the red and green sauce. But before it was because the red and green were too spicy.
Such a gringo.
Whatever.
Speaking of gringo, you're in Arizona. So
no, you're absolutely right. A bunch of whiteys everywhere. But no, it's like, I like the area that I'm in. I'm on the part of Phoenix where I can look over the landscape from the parking garage of my school, and it looks beautiful. I can see the city, the skyline, whatever. But if I turn around, I see the ghetto and the houses that are falling apart. It's quite literally, our school is on the divide. But I do like the area.
Now, I haven't talked to you much about your school because I think I've overall had a negative outlook on it because I wanted you to stay.
You have been dead set on me staying in California for the longest because I told you it's been my dream to move out here to Arizona, which quite frankly now might not be the case, but I at least wanted to be out here for school.
It was for no. It's for selfish reasons. I wanted my brother close. I wanted us to be able to have fun together.
And I keep trying to run away, and he's not getting the hint. I don't.
So it was funny to find out that you wanted to end up going to school and leave and end up at GCU. And it's funny because I actually grew up hearing all about GCU, going to like Christian concerts and Winter Jam that was like I think sponsored by GCU, and they gave the whole spiel all the time as to it being a Christian environment, a place to
Didn't I
go
tell you
if
the first time I heard about GCU?
no. What
It
was the
was
first
in
time?
2008 at a Spirit West Coast, at one of the Spirit West Coast concert festivals. They had a table
Uh huh.
in the big tent, and they gave me a T-shirt. And ever since then, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to GCU. And it's just been in the back of my head forever. So when high school rolled around and they said, okay, where are you gonna go? I was like, okay. I remember hearing something about one called GCU, I guess, and then private Christian affordable. I heard the whole spiels, and they already sold me on it.
Forget the fact that I was trying to teach you screamo music and rock, and you took away that you wanted to go to a school that was 7 hours away. Great. But
And you've never visited me once.
I haven't, not yet. You've been there 2 years? 2 years,
This
right?
is my
It's your second year?
third year. This is
Third
my
year?
third year.
Oh wow, time flies. Um,
I had to think about that one for a second.
um, but is it the Christian experience that Winter Jam made it out to be?
No, it is the college experience that they made it out to be. There are a lot of good spiritual clubs on campus. It is a good environment for the people that come here for that. I came here mostly for school and to have that environment. Should I seek it out? But Adam knows me. I'm very focused on school and getting the grades that I need to get first before anything else. So I do still see the Christian aspect of it, but for the most part, uh, if it wasn't for those clubs and the school making the effort to push that, it would not be apparent to anyone going here because you don't need a declaration of faith to get in here. And it becomes very apparent once you start actually going to classes and stuff because, like my freshman year, someone we knew was Buddhist, and then another person was Jehovah Witness, and it's still like any other campus. It's all different ideas, different religions, different viewpoints, but at the same time, the school is they still have to share the Christian worldview. They
Yeah,
share the Christian ideology, and that I appreciate. I
yeah, yeah.
took it's mandatory to take Christian worldview as a class, and I think that alone made made it worth it to come here.
That's awesome. Did you ever spend a lot of time at Biola? For I guess we did the whole turn your campus stuff and everything. Did they have a
Turn your
statement of faith?
campus, ignite. I think so. I don't remember. Viola was never really on my radar, but that
Me
was
either. Yeah,
for a couple of other reasons. Namely,
too close to
the
home.
people that I saw coming out of Viola weren't the kind of people I wanted to be.
The people I the cue the what's his name? Oh, why am I blanking out at his name? Leo DiCaprio meme. They weren't the kind of people that I want to be.
I can't do the face. I can't do the face.
Gosh. True. I can't say that I disagree, and I've thought the same thing. I just didn't like that it was like, it just seemed like everybody who was local ended up going to Biola, and it was just like the politically correct thing to do, the spiritually politically correct thing to do. I ended up going to the Master's College, and that'll be a story for another day. But do you good experience. That sounded bad. Good experience, great experience. Loved it, and totally grateful to God for it. But do you feel like the culture of GCU is different than what you experienced while you were there at Biola, or somewhat similar?
I would say that it is very different in the sense that here at GCU we are still very individual. Where like the person I spend the most time with is my roommate. Who's over here playing COD right now. But
Yes.
yeah, we spend the most time together. We still have our small cliques, our small group of friends, and we can have uh, that group
Hmm.
inside underneath the whole scape of GCU without needing to be like I think if I think hard about my experiences here at GCU, it's going to be more associated with the people, the individuals that I met along the way, the teachers that pushed me, the teachers that stuck out to me versus the school. But at the same time, the school is the reason that I get to say that.
Yeah. How has COVID-19 affected your school experience there?
It's bittersweet because I'm taking one online class, and the online classes, the ones that are completely online, are the most difficult, I think, only because we're forced to do discussion questions twice a week, and we need to come up with responses to other people's answers, and it's just tedious. It takes forever. There's no real purpose for it. It's busy work to make sure that we're participating.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's one of my hardest classes. But aside from that, it's alternating between having to uh, be on my laptop for one class, pack it all up, run 15 minutes to my next class, be there for in class, and vice versa the next day. So it's just a little bit more hustle and bustle. But aside from that, it's pretty good. Hasn't
Have
really
you
affected my day to day life.
are you spending more time like in your apartment, or is it pretty much all the
No,
same?
no, it's pretty much all the same. Me, Luis, and Shade, a friend of ours from Awana Camp, we went to a taco place that's down on Camelback on Thursday or Friday, and then we went to Fashion Square, the mall that they have on the end of Camelback, and it's all everything's open. We kept our masks on, we kept everything clean, we didn't touch anything we didn't have to, using hand sanitizer as we exited every store. And yeah, nothing really changed other than just taking necessary precautions. And then we get back to campus, get some food from Chick-fil-A or whatever. We're not allowed to eat at the tables or anything, not like we did before, but uh, yeah, it's pretty much the same.
All right. All right. Well, I'm hoping that your year goes well. I think a lot of people are hoping that things get better, and I we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks after the elections, and if things are going to end up going in the wrong direction. We'll talk about all that later because a lot did happen. I don't want to talk about it quite yet, but as far as schooling and everything, I know it can be stressful. I know it can, especially for you. You are wanting to be the best that you can be academically, and anything that is a obstacle to that is a nuisance to you. And
I got mad at getting a 14 out of 15 on my last accounting quiz.
That's right. That's right, Andrew. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word smart with me. You 14 out of 15er.
See, I don't know who I blame more for that, you or mom and dad, because I remember in high school and college, you would get B's. And in my head, I was thinking, why is he getting B's instead of A's? So then uh, I would get A's in elementary school, and then mom and dad would expect A's throughout the rest of my life. And I think the worst grade I ever had in high school was a B minus ending class.
Well, I had a lot of things going on in my life, and I don't think I even realized how many things I had going on in my life until after like college was done and I was out of the house and I could like look back at my life and see all the things that I've done. Dude, like church and Awana, like church groups, doing worship teams, doing I was still in some sports growing up. I wasn't any good, but I was still in some sports growing up, and doing band, doing choir. I did cross country for one semester. Like I was doing a whole bunch of stuff, all while trying to make music and eventually end up going into fitness. Like I spread myself super thin. So I think B's were probably just the best that I could do during the time that I was doing all those different things. And I did get a 4.0, I think, in my last year of high school. And I think when I have people expecting a lot out of me, that's when that comes out. Like if someone actually expects me to do really well at something, then I'll do it. But if it didn't matter, if it was just, you know, hey, you've got time to devote to this or time to devote to that, I would do my best to just be sufficient in both. And that's probably why I can't shred on the guitar or anything. I never got like amazing at playing every instrument. I just got really good, kind of good at doing all these different instruments and stuff. But yeah, man, that's always been our argument is Andrew has always dominated academically, and I'm proud of him for it. And I've always, I don't want to say dominated, but I've done more music stuff.
He dominated artistically. Between the two of us, he's the most creative.
It's hard to say that though, because we can do that together still. You know, I can't do homework with you, but we can both do music together, and we have done that. I've been so happy with like when we did that Christmas blend thing together, the Christmas talent show, whatever it was. Oh no, open mic. That's
yeah,
what it was.
The open mic at a coffee shop.
A bunch of different words basically saying the same thing. People who can't make it anywhere coming together and performing in front of the.
I felt kind of awkward because the people that went on right after us. So we sang some traditional Christmas songs, and then some that were from like our childhood. Not Christmas shoes. We sang his favorite Christmas story. And Gloria, but the people that came on after made it a point that they were not Christmas songs, that this was a time to celebrate the universe and spirituality. And in my head, I'm thinking, how did we go from this to this? This was supposed to be Christmas. It was in December, right?
It was in December.
Yeah, it was, I don't know. I felt kind of awkward after
Evidently,
that.
they didn't
only
celebrate.
ones singing Christmas songs. We were the only ones.
Evidently, they didn't celebrate hard enough because it still ended up being record-breaking heat. Mother Nature was not impressed. No, yeah, there's nothing wrong, people, with singing Christmas songs during Christmas. Okay, we are Christmas song people, so much so that we even love hearing different rock covers of modern or of classic Christmas songs.
Let's be honest, we prefer them.
We prefer them, yes. We prefer rock versions of everything. Rock versions of pop songs, rock versions of rap songs. Disney songs. Oh yeah. Who's the guy, Andrew?
Jonathan Young.
Jonathan Young. If you ever wanted to hear what it's like to rock out to Be a Man, go look up Jonathan Young.
I'll make a man out of you.
Yeah. Listen to all his music. It's great stuff. So, you know, yeah, we just enjoy that so much. Speaking of which, there's been just hard turn in topic. There have been a lot of anniversary albums that have come out in the last couple of weeks because this April, I don't know if you guys knew this, but April and September are usually months where music will be released, and I don't know if that's just because of it being summer, and so they release new music before they can all go out and tour during the summer. But albums like TFK's Masquerade, Welcome to the Masquerade, TFK's The Art of Breaking, the Phenomenon. Skillet had their anniversary for Comatose, and Awaken Alive. Like Flyleaf just the other day had their anniversary for their first album. All of these albums that are like 14 years old, and I'm like,
early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so old.
See, okay, but I'm 20 years old, so I'm 7 years behind you. And that's what I grew up with, thanks to you. I still prefer early 2000s Christian rock.
Well, early 2000s Christian, like if you go back to early 2000 Christian rock, even like 2000s Christian rock all the way to, I would say, like 2012, it is leagues beyond anything that anyone's come up with recently, lyrically, musically, um,
Just the emotion
solos,
it gives
like
you,
yeah,
the connection.
yeah,
That's
it
why
is.
in high school I used to do not necessarily outreach, but I used to talk to people about Christ because they'd listen to Skillet. I heard somebody listening to Monster in the courtyard, and he had no idea that they were a Christian band.
Yeah, yeah.
So that in and of itself, you can connect with so many people with that.
Yeah, the music was just so you're right, you're spot on. Emotional. It was, I think it was even like just maturing, because if you look back to pre 2000s or early 2000s, you're looking at like Skillet, Alien Youth, you know, and if you've ever heard that album and seen that hairdo on that cover, it's a joke. I'm just kidding. It's a great album, but but it is kind of like a weird kind of album. Thousand Foot Crutch, Set It Off, which was a little bit more like
Hip hop.
hip hoppy rap kind of stuff and rock. Disciple had like Servants of the Most High, not rock stars, kind of music, and it was just a little bit weird, like Big Bad Wolf from them, you know, like it was just weirder sounding. It wasn't bad, it wasn't horrible. It was just a little bit on the weird side, you know, like
All of TFK songs are a little on the weird side. Let's be honest. None of
yeah.
their lyrics make any sense, but we love them anyway.
This is literally in a TFK song. I'm a rose that's been raised by wolves.
See, Adam's told me this because he's part of a lot of Christian rock Facebook groups. Everyone craps on TFK. Everybody. But we still love them.
Are we gonna talk about this?
We can. I mean,
We don't have to talk too much about it, but somebody there's another podcast. I'm gonna give them a shout out. Actually, if you like Christian music, we do want to talk about Christian music because it's a huge part of who we are. But these guys are talking solely just about Christian music. Their podcast is called Fuel the Fire Podcast. Fuel the Fire Podcast, and it's a group of guys who are on social media who are basically kind of talking and discussing current Christian music, and then also posting when there's been anniversaries, birthdays, news related to John Cooper of Skillet is releasing a book called Awake and Alive to Truth, and so they're basically posting all of that news out there. Super thankful to them. On social media, two of the guys are Christian Rock X, and then Christian Rock. Really, really great guys. And every single time I see their stuff, I'm just like, why am I not doing this? This should have been my job. But they've been on top of it, and it's been awesome
no,
to
you're
see them
stuck
do
with
that.
me.
I know, right? No, but they pointed out that TFK like just has that appeal to that youthful Christian, that young Christian who listens to these words, and it's so catchy, and the tunes are great, and the riffs are awesome. But like as you grow up and you realize that there's other music out there that has better riffs and better lyrics and better like organization of songs, and words actually make sense, and you know, they said they were saying like, hey, you know, I used to listen to TFK when I was 6 years old, and they're like, yeah, I used to listen to the Wiggles too when I was 6 years old.
See, that's not fair. You showed me FM Static when I was like 4 or 5, and that is a gateway to TFK, basically.
Yeah. FM Static is a little bit more like
Love songs, and their songs make a little bit more sense technically.
they do, but they're more like kids songs though, because they're like pop rock. They're more like punkish pop rock. Who would you liken them to? Like I don't know.
Can't think of anything that I would liken them to, honestly, because they were a little more like Hawk Nelson than TFK. Between the two, I mean, there's nothing really to compare them to.
Like secular band wise, like would you say like Simple Plan or like Green Day?
There were too much rock to be Simple Plan and too much pop to be Green Day. And I know that's
FM Static people.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, that's some of that stuff. But the on FM Static, the singer is actually the singer and the drummer from TFK made FM Static, and what's really funny is that live when they were performing live, they had the singer and the drummer and the guitarist from TFK. So it was basically TFK playing playing FM Static. So you realize really quick that it was like the inner child of TFK playing for you when they played live FM Static. So
I remember the first time I saw that they had FM Static was all dressed up in like black shirts and red ties, and they went on first, and then I was like, oh cool, and then I saw the same people come out next, and I'm like, why they just took their ties off and unbuttoned their shirts? What's going on? What's happening? And then it was TFK.
yeah,
I was like,
if you don't know who FM Static is, I think one of their songs is on the Disney Skater game on PS2. You remember that game where you can go around skating? I didn't know this.
I don't remember what song. What song was on there? I know
think
Grits is on there. I know Simple Plan is on there.
Yeah.
Where's FM Static?
I didn't realize this, but somebody mentioned that bands really got discovered through these games, like these Tony Hawk games and BMX games and the Disney ones. Yeah, like My Life Be Like Ooh Ah Ooh Ah from Grits.
That was Grits.
Like, that was on the skating game, on a Disney skating game, you know, and we found out who those guys were from that game. Are you looking it up now?
I'm looking it up. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
Dude, that game was
Activision.
So much fun. That game was so much fun.
I'm trying to look for
from the makers of Call of Duty. From the makers of Call of Duty Mobile, we give you. But that early 2000s kind of music was so good, and it just had so much emotion to it. What would you say would be like your top 3 Christian rock albums from early childhood? Like if you were to say like the old days, the golden days of Christian rock, what would your top 3 albums be?
Awake and Alive, Skillet.
I knew you were going to say
Welcome to the Masquerade, TFK.
Okay.
And there's just so many. I'm not going to count Cutlass in this because they went through a lot of their songs were more aimed towards worship than they are towards rock. But crap.
Which, side note, they're going to be coming out with an EP that is, by their own definition, the hardest music they've ever written. God answered our prayers. They're going to be coming out with hard music again after 2 or 3 worship albums. Not saying anything bad about worship albums. Worship albums are great, but Cutlass is a rock band. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I changed my mind. Are you looking for a third album?
Well, first off, I don't see FM Static on the lineup for Extreme Skater.
Really?
Real Big Fish, Smash Mouth, Simple Plan, Grits. Yeah, no FM Static.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna go with what is the band Sent by Ravens? What album is Listen in?
That
I really
one
like
is
that song.
Mean What You Say.
Yeah, I really like just that song. That song made that album for me personally. But yeah, that's.
I didn't know that. I love that album. Sent by Ravens is in Andrew's top 3. That's awesome to know. I'm sure they would love to know that. He actually has another band that he makes music for called Brave Future. If you ever want to look that up, Brave Future, and his name is Zach. And his Instagram is Zach Talk. I actually recently found him, and I was like, oh, he's still making music. Because, yeah, great music. Great music. I wouldn't put that album in my top 3 for Christian rock. And I'll tell you, but Christian rock, like rock is such a broad term. Is that Under Oath? Is that...
See, because I would have said We As Human, but I kind of don't want to pull them into the Christian rock, because if you just listen to their music, it's really hard to tie it to Christianity.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay. I'll give you my 3. I'll give you my three, and I want to know what you think of this. Okay. That I think these three albums shaped the Christian music world. Okay. Number one, right off the bat, Skillet, Comatose. I think that
You
Awake and
always
Alive.
identified more with that one than I did.
Yeah. I think Awake and Alive was their first like real mainstream album. Like it was the first album that actually caught on to mainstream eyes. But Comatose was like, everyone who heard that album was like, this is going to change everything. Like it was
because
just
that was
so,
right after Alien Youth, where if you listen to both albums, you can see the obvious divide between 1995 or 6 and then 2000 when they were solidified as Christian rock.
Well, they actually had Collide before Comatose. Collide came out before Comatose. That's the one with Savior on it. Savior, Fingernails, Open Wounds. You like that song, Open Wounds?
Yeah, but I didn't see as much of an obvious divide.
No. That was
those ones.
That was the first like actual rock with no weird synths in it, no weird lyrics in it. It was a little still on the topical like metaphorical side, but Comatose was like, the production was amazing. Their use of strings in their songs was amazing. Their solos, like even Andrew Stanton, who plays guitar for Disciple, or at least did for a couple of the albums, he just posted on Instagram the other day that he was playing the Whispers in the Dark solo. The right, and he's like, name a more iconic Christian solo. Like, what is more iconic than the Whispers in the Dark solo? If you haven't heard that, Whispers in the Dark by Skillet on the album Comatose, a great song. If I had to pick one of their best songs, Whispers in the Dark would be like one of their top 3 or 4 or 5. You know, but I think
it has that emotional connection while still being I have emotional connection to it, where it's talking about saving someone, God being there in the darkness, the whispers in the dark.
Yeah,
and
and even not even just that song, but like Last Night being about people who want to commit suicide or want to harm themselves, and realizing that God's love can satisfy them, and even if their family doesn't love them, even if they don't love themselves, God still has love for them and wants that to be the last night that they ever don't feel like. Oh, that message is just so amazing. And I just feel like Skillet's gone downhill from there, and like Awake and Alive was still up that hill. Like it was a little downhill, but it was still up that hill. And and not that they're bad. Like I love all their music. I think widely they haven't been as accepted with their newer music. It's been a little bit more like radio friendly, a little more like the topics aren't as controversial or aren't as deep as they used to be.
I think we've said it on the show before. Our dislike of the fact that Fish and Air One aren't as hardcore as they used to be.
They're not. Yeah.
Like that. I think the difference is now who Skillet is trying to connect to. In the early 2000s, they were trying to connect to the high schoolers, the adolescents who needed this message, who they could identify with the type of music, they could identify with the message that they were trying to bring out. And they very well may be trying to keep up with the same people, but now they're older. Now they need a different kind of message. They need the people who were saved by or got the connection to the early music. Now they need the difference between being introduced to God, being introduced to those ideas, and worshiping God.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with that to an extent. Like I just see a huge disconnect between rebirthing, you know, and how that message was portrayed, and like, are you ready? You know, you ain't ready. You ain't ready for me. You know, it's just the cheese. Okay, the cheese is on the crust, and it's in the crust. It's just cheesy all over, you know? And I think they know that, and I don't think they care because they're having fun and they're still putting out messages that they want. It's not bad. It's not bad messages. It's just not as in depth, you know? And maybe to them it's more in depth. Anchor is a great song. That's from their new album. Anchor is a really deep song. I just feel like it's not the same depth, you know? I don't know. And
Isn't that why John Cooper started doing his own thing because of that?
John Cooper has his other group. I was gonna say Fight the Fury. Yeah, that's what it is, right? Fight the Fury.
I keep thinking of Fire and Fury, the Skillet song.
Yeah, me too. Fight the Fury. A little, and not even deeper. It's just harder music and not as spiritual Christian focused, but just more like targeting those thoughts and feelings that are more like self-awareness and like, what am I actually going through during this time? Demons kind of haunting you and not knowing if you can keep going on with certain obstacles in your life. Like that is stuff that they would talk about in early Skillet, and it just seems like they've strayed away from that kind of message. Again, still really good messages, still really good songs. I don't see how John Cooper, and when you hear him talk about the things that he talks about, especially this year with everything going on, with all this stuff going on, and he actually lives in Kenosha and has experienced a lot of these things, and when you hear him talk about where he is spiritually and politically and relationally with everybody, he's got such passion and such an open heart with no filter, but like in a good way. Like he doesn't hold back speaking the truth, and he doesn't hold back from talking about all these really controversial topics. And I just don't exactly see that reflected in the music. I just don't. But then again, he is still there going out and connecting with people and talking with people. So, he may still be doing that through himself and just not the songs, just not the music. But I'm excited. I'm honestly, overall, just like we said in that one other episode, I'm excited for music in general in 2021. I think everybody is going to be writing a little bit better and have a little bit more passion for music and writing after this year, after the lockdowns and after being forced to be in their rooms and homes with their musical equipment and everything.
Them's the best jamming hours.
Those are the best circumstances for someone who's trying to jam and make some music. And we're both excited for doing some listen-alongs. Is that what they're called? Or for doing some music reaction videos. They're not sing-alongs. They're not play-alongs. They're listen-alongs, I guess.
No, they're just reaction videos.
Just reaction videos.
You're overcomplicating it.
Like let's start it right now, man. Let's call them listen-alongs.
No.
Hear-alongs.
This is not the podcast to try and start a thing. As soon as I get a break, I'm probably going to be going back for Halloween and Thanksgiving. But when I get home, me and Adam are probably going to start trying to do Christmas music again, because our mother demands that we play Christmas music every year for the family. Piano, guitar, everything. And if she didn't demand it, we wouldn't do it, so we're thankful for it.
Not true. We'd still do it. I'd do it. Our father really wants us to take our guitars and go to the streets and carol for everybody in the neighborhood. Luckily, this year we've got COVID-19 as an excuse not to do that.
I mean, we could. We just have to have like a face shield or just a shield in front of us.
We'd have to bring our own plexiglass.
I don't know. I still want to do that. I've wanted to go caroling, like legit caroling, for years, and I can't get anyone to go with me.
That's because it's weird. Nobody does that anymore. And
should.
Nobody does that, especially during a pandemic where they don't want your caroling breath and droplets spraying on their home. Now give us some COVID droplets. Now give us some COVID. Oh no. I wonder how the Christmas season's going to be. I really do. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I think Halloween is going to be our trial run of that because okay. So what's the final word? Is LA closed for Halloween because they were closed before I left?
Oh, dude, they tried to say that they were going to cancel Halloween and say everyone needs to stay inside during Halloween, no trick-or-treating period. Like within hours, they retracted that and said, "Just kidding, you guys can go out. The police department's told us they're not going to enforce that, so go ahead and just be careful, 6 feet away, wear your mask, and
We're going to find out if the numbers jump."
Yeah, and try to find some way to share candy without actually spreading COVID-19, and to see some, like, from just leaving candy out there and letting other people spread germs by putting all their hands in the same box. Or I've seen people put a long tube along
I saw that too.
The handle of their steps, and they'll just like drop candy in there, which is so funny because everyone's still touching things. There's no getting around it. It's just like when you go to the grocery market, all those memes that are like, "Oh, thank you for this."
Okay, if you put on gloves and you get it out of the bag that it came in, go through the tube, and then the kid just holds their bag open on the end, then yeah, there's no contact.
You'd have to change gloves every single house. And you'd have to change gloves every single kid.
No.
That's the only way that works.
No, you change gloves every time you come out, but no, you grab into the bag, you put it out, and you just keep doing that. As long as you don't touch anything other than what is in the bag that time that you come out the door, you should be fine.
Okay.
I don't know why
let's think about this practically.
Gloves every kid.
Let's think about this practically. There's going to be Halloween parties. There's just going to be Halloween parties. That means that at any
drunk
given
college kids.
Yeah, at any given house, there might be guests there who might be positive for COVID-19, and there will be people in your home who you don't know if they've been tested or not. You don't know if they're positive or not. Okay, so you have this Halloween party.
Yet?
No, I haven't been tested.
I got tested once, and it came out negative.
Woo!
I might get tested again. GCU is going to let us. I forgot when. I think it's going to be at the end of this month. They're going to start letting us just get tests if we want to.
There you go. Well, if you have access to it, then I would do it. At any of these parties, someone might be positive, and so you're going to have someone ring the doorbell. They'll go wear their gloves, put the candy in, and then once they go back into the house and they're around all those people, the next person who goes and wants candy, now they're at risk because you might have to, like, that's the scenario that everyone's saying, like, that's the dangerous thing, that people might pass COVID that way. I don't think it's that. Not that I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I don't think that that's going to be an easy way to spread COVID-19 is through Skittles packets. I just don't think so. But I guess we're going to find out. We're all just learning about this year, so we're going to know. We're going to know how COVID is during Halloween this year and be ready for next year, because it's not like COVID's going to ever go away. It's going to be around. So we'll just
but then we keep finding out that they're inflating the numbers, whether it's deaths or cases, and they keep readjusting to tell us, okay, well, this is what the numbers actually mean. This is how many people actually have it. Here's how many people actually died from it.
Yeah.
We're still in the learning process.
So, okay. Before we move on, I'm excited again for music in 2021. We're excited to do music reaction videos. We're going to try to do that for you very soon. It's coming very soon. We're on Operation Warp Speed to get you some music videos. They're going to be the best reaction videos ever. And music means a lot more to us than we have been portraying on this podcast. So we want to get more of that to you. So we're excited for that. I hope you're excited for that. And again, if you want to hear more about the kind of music that we grew up listening to and are currently listening to, Fuel the Fire podcast is talking all about it. Christian Rock on Instagram and Christian Rock X on Instagram, and we will be using our Instagram, the Cast Bros, to to post some of that news as well and share some of that music and knowledge with you guys. Okay, we're excited now.
Also, I want to ask before last thing before I move. When me and Adam do jam sessions, and when we do inevitably play Christmas music, whether it's at the open mic night or just with our family homes, let us know if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing, because like we said, the music is a very big part of our lives. It's a very big part of our personal lives, especially the music that we do together. Is that something you guys care about at all? Do you want your ears to bleed? Is that something you guys would be interested in? We're still in the learning phases of all of this, and we want your guys' input.
I promise.
Whether it's how this episode went, what comments, concerns, that kind of stuff, we really want to hear from you guys.
I promise you, we can actually play music and do it decent. Much. Andrew, give me a note. Give me a note. Just kidding. No, we do post. Actually, I should post on our page some of the music we have done, because I know on my page I post music regularly of me doing some covers of songs and everything. Andrew should be doing it more often. Yeah, we'll make sure to do that. So
everyone in my dorm says that I sound good, except for Luis, because he has to hear me the most every time I practice. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him because he will lay in bed and he's not actually going to sleep, but I'm still playing in the middle of the night.
That will be a topic of another podcast, being a musician in a dorm room. You know what it's like. It is
finding picks in my laundry.
Yeah.
I have at least 50 picks in my guitar case, 10 of which have been lost since I've been here.
Well, even like, I don't know if you remember, but I got into a little bit of a fight with a roommate because he was a music composer and wanted complete silence in the room. And
I remember that.
I was practicing in a worship team with my acoustic guitar, and we did not. Yeah, that's a story for another time. But anyways, Andrew, a lot of stuff happened since our last episode. A lot of stuff. Where do we start? Where do we start? We're not going to talk about all of it today.
I want to at least, I made it very clear I want this to be a very lighthearted podcast. I want us to be able to connect with you, be relatable. And I think we can all relate to wanting to make fun of the presidential debate because, quite frankly, I don't care who you support. That was hilarious to watch.
That was a hilarious
either
debate.
Side. That was absolutely hilarious.
Wrong.
It was just okay.
No, you won't say it. You won't say it. No, he won't say it. He won't.
I believe in a law and a little bit of order.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we could totally pick that apart. But it was okay.
It was two 5-year-olds yelling at each other. That's what it was. Two 5-year-olds yelling at each other in an Among Us lobby.
Here's the problem I have though. Okay. Are you surprised at all with the people who were like, I was 15 minutes in and it was just so traumatizing. I couldn't handle it. The anxiety was so high. I had to turn my TV off and go sit in the shower and have a bath. Like
I'm not surprised by that now.
Like, come on, people. These are your presidential candidates. And even if you already have your own opinions, I'll tell you right now, I sat through the whole hour and a half twice and I learned something both times. Like what they say is important and what they don't say is also important, and unfortunately both of them said and didn't say a lot of things that obviously led to conversation. What are some of the things that you picked apart from that debate?
Well, one of them was that one where he said, I believe in law and a little bit of order, and the fact that he said that he is completely against defunding the police. Now I find that interesting because most of the people that are supporting him are completely for defunding the police. And the Green New Deal, he said he is not a supporter of the Green New Deal. And not only is that another thing that his party supports, but it's on his website that he supports the Green New Deal. That is something that is public knowledge on his website for his political campaign, that it says he supports it, and he completely denounced it during the presidential debate.
Yeah. Kamala Harris, I think, actually endorses the Green New Deal, and Green New Deal, I think, comes from California. So it's really funny. It was really funny to hear him say that. I actually think that was a pride thing. I think that was a pride thing because so many people think that Biden can't make up his mind about things and he doesn't have any of his own thoughts. They're other people's thoughts. They're other people's speeches, and people are writing things for him to say and do. And so when Trump calls him out on that and says that, you're going to be doing the Green New Deal and someone else is writing it and you're going to go along with it, he's all like, no, I don't back the Green New Deal. I back Biden's deal. And what is Biden's deal? What is it? He doesn't have it. I think it was just a pride thing. He just didn't want to say that he is actually supporting someone else's plan and that he actually doesn't have a plan for it. But
there were a couple of questions that he just completely avoided because he started saying cut and paste things from his campaign, his previous speeches, from his party's ideals. I forget, there was one in particular where Trump was calling him out. Are you going to answer the question? Are you going to answer? No, I'm not going to answer the question. Here's why.
Oh, whether he's going to stack the whether he's going to stack the courts.
Yeah.
He should have answered the question, just like Trump should have denounced white supremacy. The difference between the two, though,
for the 50th time.
Yeah, the difference between the two, though, is that Trump has a record of actually denouncing white supremacy. I was actually amazed at how many times he's done it. When
people keep thinking that he agrees with them, that he appreciates their support, because they keep bringing it up, and he keeps having to say, "No, what's the word when someone supports you and you have to say you don't take the support?
Denounce."
No, there's another word. It's official, and he had to use it in like several interviews. But yeah, he says that he does not accept their support. He does not accept the push for him from their organization.
Yeah, he doesn't want it. What was I going to say? I was really surprised when I saw people like Bernie Sanders when he was saying like, oh, he can't denounce white supremacy because
disavow.
He is,
that's the word.
Yeah, disavow. He can't disavow it because he is a white supremacist and he's incapable of denouncing white supremacy. And I was like, there's gotta be times when he's denounced them. So I go on YouTube and I look up, all the different times that he's done it. Some people already had made compilations of him denouncing white supremacy. And then when you look at like speeches, like I'm amazed at this. Okay. I'm amazed at this. When you look at certain speeches and you realize like, oh, these are speeches that Democrats and news stations and left influencers have used against Trump, like the Charlottesville situation where they were taking down the statue of Robert E. Lee. And there were people who were against that, and I do believe I'm not too familiar with the situation. I didn't go back and research it as much as I probably should have, but someone died from it, from the people who did not want the statue taken down, and they were seen as fascists, they were seen as white supremacists, and they were seen as really, really bad people. And that is the speech where Trump is saying that there were really good people on both sides. That's the quote that they use from that speech. There were really good people on both sides. Literally all he was saying was that there were people who wanted the statue taken down for their own good reasons, and they were good people. And then there were people who didn't want the statue taken down for good reasons, for their own good reasons, and they were good people. And then you had some bad people who were going to force the statue taken down, and there were some bad people who were going to fight to keep it from being taken down, who were going to resort to violence. There were both good people on both sides. That is probably the most politically correct thing that you could do, and yet they turned it against him. And in that same speech, he even said, I'm not talking about the racists and white supremacists who should be condemned totally. He said he named them and denounced them and said should be condemned totally multiple times. And I thought it was just
telling Biden to finish the quote, say the rest of the quote, because in that same sentence, in that same breath, he proved his point that he is not associating himself with them.
Yeah. and there's so many different examples of that. So many, from people saying that Trump called the coronavirus a hoax. He never called the coronavirus a hoax. He was saying that, I don't know if you know this, but in the speech in South Carolina, February 28th, he says that the Democrats have been throwing things at him. They use the impeachment hoax, they use the Russia hoax, and this is their new hoax, the politicalization of the coronavirus, and blaming him for it back when they had no deaths, blaming him for it back when there were only a few cases, I think like 50 cases and no deaths. And he even said at that point, that doesn't mean we won't get any deaths. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. But we're trying to be prepared. We're creating this virus task force. Like they took it out of context and made him say something that he didn't say. Numerous accounts where that's happening, to the point where now I'm like, if the media says this, I almost have to assume the opposite is true, and I have to look it up and find out, you know? So it's really sad. So there were those things that happened in the debates. Biden said that Antifa isn't real, it's an idea, which is
funny. Okay, I found this out this week. If you put into your URL bar Antifa.com, it sends you to Biden's presidential campaign website. If you search Antifa.com.
Which, do I think that Biden did that? No, not at all. I think that?
But I just think that's hilarious, and especially since the fact that it hasn't been taken down. Like, they haven't fixed that.
Yeah, fun fact. But I'm certain that the people who are having their buildings taken down and burned down and crashed into, who are being forced to give reparations, are not believing that Antifa is just an idea. There are people who are doing things in the name of Antifa, and just like there's people doing things in the name of BLM. You know, we said it in our other podcast that we don't support BLM, and that a lot of bad things have happened in the name of BLM.
But we support the ideology that Black lives matter.
Yeah.
That all lives matter. That people matter. But we do not support the organization.
And you guys have to know that, hey, guess what? You can believe and live out the fact that Black lives do indeed matter. You can love all people and love Black people and love white people and love Asian and Mexican and, you know, Indian, everybody. You can do that and not support certain organizations who have other agendas. And BLM, BlackLivesMatter.com, is one of those organizations that has different agendas that we don't agree with. So we explained in the other podcasts, you know, don't have to go too deep into it now. But Biden wouldn't say that Antifa was something he wanted to denounce. He just called it an idea, basically just ignored it. And I don't know about you, Andrew, but we grew up in church learning that the devil, Satan, and I'm not linking this at all to BLM. I'm not saying BLM is the devil or anything, or that Antifa is the devil or anything like that. Mama said that no, we grew up,
everything's the devil to you, Mama.
we grew up with this idea that the best thing that the devil could do is to not get you to be against God, but to think that the devil isn't real, or to not even make you hate God or fight against God or anything, but just to believe that God isn't real and that the devil isn't real. To just think that it's all just an idea. It's all just not real. It's just thoughts and ideas. That's the best thing that the devil can do, because then it makes it like all of these evil things that happen in the world are just things that happen, and that there is no God and that there is no holiness or righteousness and there is no truth. And that is a trap. That is a trap to believe in, and that is not the truth. So for Biden to say that and to basically, I don't even know. Like I would hope that any president would take something as serious as what's been going on in these different states and say like, hey, if even if there's a possibility that Antifa is real, I'm gonna denounce it. You know, even if there's even a possibility that there's a group of people who are doing things under this name and it's causing damage to my country and my states and everything, that I will denounce it. And Biden refused to do it. So, you know, I don't know what it means. And then with the whole defunding the police thing, he proceeded to say that he wants psychologists and psychiatrists at the same time to be with these police officers. And someone brought up a great point. Is like, what kind of psychologist is going to want to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning and do a ride along, risk their lives on a ride along with police officers? You know, it's just some impractical stuff. And do I think that we don't need any reform? No, we do need reform in police. I do think that we need to make sure we're always learning and growing as a country, and that we always equip our police officers with anything that they need to be able to handle any situation that they may be in. But at
the same time, we have family friends who give their personal opinions on this as officers, and they said the best case scenario for them, if any of this goes through, is that social workers are going to be the ones to go and call in the middle of the night to go see, oh, are they mentally deranged? Oh, are they just in need of help? And then it's still going to become violent. The social worker could get hurt. The cops are still going to get called, and they're still going to get in trouble when they do something to stop it.
Yeah.
And it's just going to cost extra money, cause extra pain to the people who are being hurt in the initial crime, and the social workers are going to be put in harm's way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I've heard that there's some cities where that's working out okay, or that it's actually working better than what they were doing before. But I just think that you can't use one anecdotal example for the vast majority of the country. And, you know, we have a family member who's in the police department, and they actually were followed after they were getting off of their work and shift, and they followed them home and shot up their house. Okay. This whole idea that where you should put the police officers in the communities that they're serving in, not a good idea. Okay, we've been to Northern Ireland too, where they put bombs underneath the police officers' cars.
Their patrol cars look like armored tanks.
Yeah,
that's what they have to deal with in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, so like, not a good idea. Another idea, please. Not that one. But you know, I think that they should still love their community. I think that there still needs to be people in the community who connect with the police departments. But we really got to do a better job of rethinking this, and not think of I don't know who said it, but someone said that Trump was living in a dream world or something like that. He's living in, like, that's actually what I kind of think on the other side. Like, to think that we can just get these psychologists, psychiatrists, and these activists, the social activists, all in one room with the police departments and everybody, and let's talk it out and let's figure out a plan. Like, you know, I don't think it's going to be as clean as that. There's going to be demands. There's going to, if we can't even figure out a stimulus bill for us to do, like, how are we going to get all these different other people and figure out a law enforcement plan? It's just, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. But, whew. Other big news, Trump got COVID-19. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. And so the party that wants to have government-controlled Medicare and controlled medicine are happy that the president of the United States got COVID.
Dude, so much
And there
hate.
are so many people that want him dead. I can say honestly that if Biden was the one who got it, I'm not surprised that Trump got it, but I wouldn't be surprised one way or the other. But I wouldn't wish him dead. That's just wrong.
No, okay. And this is, and I've heard, and I have friends who have said, well, where was that when this person said that they wish they would die, or where was that for blah, blah, blah. Look, across the board, no one should ever wish anyone else dead. Okay? no one should ever wish anyone else death or anything. Okay. I cannot speak for other people, and I can't speak for anyone else who may have wished anyone on any level. I don't even wish death on people that I completely disagree with and think are evil people. I don't wish death on them. I wish that, if anyone's going to cause their death, it would be God. That's what I would wish, is that God would just would take revenge into his own hands and cause that to happen. That's not for me to decide. That's not for me to wish. That is for God to do.
Even more so, and this is just how we were raised as Christians. We wouldn't even wish for God to kill them. We would wish for God to work in their lives, to change them for the better, because we hope for everybody. And like we said, that's how we were raised. We would never wish death upon anyone, no matter how bad we think they are, we think they were in life or in death.
Yeah. Somebody asked me recently what I thought about the death penalty. And, I personally don't agree with the death penalty. I know even in the Bible, death penalty is there. But even just me personally, I don't agree with the death penalty, because in my own mind, I'm just like, there is potential that person could change their heart and change their mind and change their lives. And we know that the Bible is filled with murderers who have turned their lives around and ended up glorifying God. We know that there are people in the world in the recent times who have changed their hearts and changed their lives and been able to glorify God with their lives. We have met people in Costa Rica who are part of gangs who have killed people, and they came to Christ, and then they are bringing other people to Christ and changing their lives. So it's possible for that to happen. Do I also think it's possible that people could never change and that they'll never ever be able to change their lives? I believe that too. I just don't think that it's for me to say. And I don't have faith in a jury to say, to me, the death penalty idea is just not, it just doesn't coincide with what my heart says. That's my conviction. But as a country, I don't know. I don't know.
See, I've been asked the same question, and I do this all the time when anyone asks me anything where my objective thoughts and my beliefs as a Christian might conflict. I play devil's advocate with myself. So as a Christian, I do not support the death penalty, because, same as Adam said, there's always a chance. There's always a chance that they could change their lives for the better. There's always a chance that they could harm more people on their way out. But from a political and economic standpoint, it is seemingly a better option in terms of keeping them in prison for life versus the death penalty. But I'm going to go with my Christian beliefs every time.
Yeah, and either way, we wouldn't wish that. We wouldn't wish for the death penalty. We wouldn't hope for it or wish for it. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people who believe that Trump deserves to die. And I think it's just showing the true colors of a lot of people on both sides. Not just on the Democratic side, but also on the conservative side. You've got people who were happy for the justice's death, and that wasn't right. You can't pick a side when it comes to that. You need to take a stance and say that all lives matter. And that was something I said. I challenged people with saying that, this is when your all lives matter is tested. Does the president's life matter? And it does. I'll tell you that right now. You can pick anyone's name, anybody there, their life still does matter. We'll talk about this in another podcast, but we also need to decide too, like, at what point does a life matter in the womb? That matters too. When you decide that, these are all things that we need to accept and we need to take a stance on. And if you don't think that someone's life matters, if you don't think that this person or that person or whatever, then you don't believe all lives matter. So we really need to check our hearts when it comes to that. And that's a personal thing. You could hate Trump. That's fine. I don't think it's fine, actually. I don't think you should hate anybody. But if you wanted to dislike someone or disagree with someone, that's fine. Sure. But hating someone and wishing them death says more about you than it says about the person. So,
because I think we made it clear in an earlier episode, we don't hate anyone, and that's because of how we were raised. We
said it, yeah.
We don't hate anyone. We can disagree. We can strongly disagree. We can think that whatever you believe or what someone may believe is evil in its own right, but we don't hate anyone.
I think you said those exact words in the other episode. Yeah, agree. Totally agree. But yeah, people were really happy to hear that President Trump got coronavirus. I was like, sooner or later it was going to happen. People are making a really big deal out of him getting it, thinking that he's already dead. When the survival rate of coronavirus is like it's more than likely that he'll survive. It's more than likely that he will be completely fine. It's crazy to me that so many people are making such a big deal out of this, when there have been Democrats who had coronavirus. There have been news anchors on CNN and MSNBC. I think MSNBC. I know for sure CNN, who have gotten coronavirus and still survived. And somehow when someone like President Trump ends up getting it, now he's irresponsible. Now he, that's what he gets. It's just really funny to see that. And then when he makes remarks like saying, don't fear coronavirus and don't let it dominate your life, because now he's starting to recover. Now he's starting to get better. He's pumped up with drugs, of course. So, he's not out of the woods yet. We don't exactly know when he's going to be 100% or if he's going to be 100%. But he said that don't fear coronavirus and don't let it dominate your life. That's been true. And he's not wrong. He did say it wasn't as bad as the flu, and it's not and that's not right. That's not true. But to say don't fear the coronavirus and don't let it dominate your life, that is true. You should never let anything cause you to be so afraid that you're afraid to even be around your own family and afraid to even, I was even thinking for the president and his wife, and for Biden and his wife, like imagine going all these places and campaigning, and you guys being in separate places, being with different groups. You would be afraid to lay in bed with your wife, and I was even kind of laughing inside when I saw Jill Biden go up to Joe Biden with her mask on, go up to her husband with her mask on, like, I don't know if that's right or not. I don't know if that's a good thing. I know it's better safe than sorry, but how is that going to be on their relationship? How long do we need to be afraid of doing things like that?
But at the same time, even like, I don't think anyone in our family's ever gotten flu shots, ever. But Adam gets sick almost every flu season. And our thought process as a family has always been, if you got it, we're going to get it. We don't care. We're family. If you need to eat, we're going to come in and feed you. We're going to give you a hug goodnight. We're that close of a family, and that's just who we are. We could never think of, well, you're sick, stay away from me.
Yeah.
So we have to take that into account too.
And granted, like, coronavirus is more fatal, it is more lethal, more dangerous and everything, and we wouldn't want to risk the health of our mom or risk the health of our dad or anything like that. But at the same time, we have to be realistic about the risk and know that it is not as dangerous as it's being made out to be. You mentioned the numbers. It's crazy to see how they're putting out this big number when we know that there's been a liberal criteria. We know that there's been other factors. We know that it's not actually that number, It's just looking back in hindsight at all the different things and how this has all been played out. I just think it's crazy how so many people have been wooed to believe certain things. And I honestly think that we've done this to ourselves. We've allowed ourselves to be trained and taught to accept things in, Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat, little 15-second bits, 15-second, 60-second bits. And we're we accept news that way. That's the only way we accept knowledge and information is in those little 15 to 60-second bits of video.
The headlines and the highlights.
The headlines and the highlights. No one is willing to go back and watch the hour-and-a-half long debate. No one is willing to go back and watch the hour-and-a-half long speeches that both these candidates have made. Because if they would see all of the times that Biden messes up and missays things and quotes things that are against other things that he said. They would see all the time where actually Trump has been politically correct and he's said things that put him into context and prove that it's not the way that media has made it out to be. People don't go to the CDC website and see all the new updates that they've been making. They don't do that research. And the shame is that the media should be doing that. Like, that's their job to do that. It's their job to go and research those things and to say, this is everything that you need to know about this situation. Here's both sides. Now you're informed. It's just not that way. And
there are very few media and news stations that are doing that. I think there's like 2 total that consider themselves to be completely unbiased by presenting facts without any kind of political opinion. One of them is, I keep thinking World News Network, but I don't think that's
Fox News.
No,
CNN.
No,
MSNBC.
No, not even close. Okay, but that's something too. In case our viewers haven't noticed by now, we are relatively conservative. We know Fox is not an unbiased source. We know that a lot of their stuff is loaded, but the same is true for CNN, MSNBC, and the fact of the matter is, we know we can't avoid it. So we, in an attempt to be objective, listen to both, figure out what they're both saying, and then pull from that.
You have to listen to the extremes now because there's no one in the middle ground. And in order to find the middle ground and the whole truth, you need to listen to both extremes, and then recognize too that even the extremes are going to not tell the whole truth. They're just going to tell a piece, and so you put all those pieces together, and then you figure out, okay, that's what actually happened. And the sad thing is that I think both sides are so busy trying to defend themselves against the other side. It's like an argument. It's like an argument with a parent. You know, like you try to defend yourself to your parent. The parent tries to defend themselves against you, and then it just ends up being this big old argument, and no one gets anywhere. So
no, because I said so.
Yeah, exactly. No, really. So we're going to have the next vice presidential debate soon, and we'll be talking about that. But there's more topics to talk about. We'll get to it. I think this is a good place to end.
Is it sad that I think that the vice presidential debate is going to be a lot more respectful than the presidential debate?
Oh, it will. It will.
Because just looking at the VPs, they are between the 4, the more respectable of the 2, but I think it is going to still turn into a yelling match.
Yeah. I think it's going to be better communication. There's going to be more structure. I heard there's going to be plexiglass involved as well, so that'll be interesting. But I'm looking forward to that one just because I think there's going to be more clear ideas and also more clear manipulation. I think Pence is very much a yes man to Trump, and Kamala is very much a person who likes to manipulate rhetoric and make it emotional. So it'll be interesting to see what things she does that with and how it all plays out. So this isn't all that we have to say about all these topics. We're excited to talk more about it, but like Andrew said, we want to keep overall these episodes lighthearted and just share our thoughts and opinions on the general things that happen today. So with that, if there's any other topics that you guys want us to talk about, just go ahead, go to our Instagram at thecastbros, or go to our website, www.thecastbros.com. Let us know there if there's any songs that you want us to react to, if there's anything that you want us to give our opinion on. We're open and happy to do it. And
please give us songs, please. That's something that we both really want to do.
Yeah, we're excited about that. We actually we are 100% going to do a reaction to a new song. Andrew's just hearing this for the first time, but a song by KJ52 called Rise. So we'll be looking for that. We're gonna try to do that soon.
KJ52 in a while.
Yeah, but it's a good song. Anyways. All right, guys, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review. And until next time,
take care now.
Bye-bye then.